Hello everyone and welcome to that special day of the year. It is the 9th of November and it is of course the birthday of the great former world champion Mikhail Tal. He got his Grandmaster title in 1957 and already in 1959 in the Great Candidates Tournament of 1959. He won and he won the right to challenge the reigning world champion Mikhail Botvinnik for the title, which he won in 1860. So we've seen a lot of Tal's games. We've shown pretty much all of Tal's great games on this channel already, but I still have a few of them that I have saved for special occasions like this one when it's his birthday, for example, to show to you. Now in this game he's playing a gentleman named Kirjatsky. He's playing in a simultaneous exhibition and he sacrifices his queen so many times that I've literally lost count, and I challenge you, watch this video and try to figure out how many times Tal has offered his queen. So let's check it out. Tal has the white pieces and he opens with pawn to e4. We have pawn to e5, knight to f3, knight to c6, and bishop to b5. Going for the real Ootes, a6 Morphy's defense, bishop to a4, and now knight to f6. We have castles, bishop to e7, and rook to e1. We have pawn to b5, and now bishop to b3. So very, very standard stuff being played here. We have castles, pawn to c3, and now pawn to d5, going for the martial attack. And this is how Tal replies. E captures on d5, and now almost everyone plays knight captures on d5, and then you have a trade on e5, and then you choose what you will play. But not Mr. Kirjatsky here. Here he plays pawn to e4, sort of pushing the martial attack even further. And what can you do here? Okay, Tal plays d captures on c6 with e captures on f3, and now pawn to d4, a very important move in any line of the martial. Bishop to d6, and now bishop to g5. But what do you gain by pinning the knight, as it's not really pinned? Well, Kirjatsky says, all right, Mr. Tal, show me. He plays bishop captures on h2 with check, king captures, and now knight to g4, a check that will win back the material. King to g1, and now queen captures on g5. We have queen captures on f3, and now bishop to f5. There are a couple of games where h5 was played, also knight to f6 is a known move, but bishop to f5 here is a new move. So already as of move 15, we have a completely new game, or we did in 1959. So okay, knight to d2. Tal tries to offer a knight for the bishop on f5, as this knight will have a hard time of entering the game unless it is allowed the d2 square, and pawn to h5. It's best to decline this trade. We have knight to e4 attacking the queen, and here Kirjatsky trades bishop for knight. We have bishop captures, not queen captures, but rather rook captures, and now king to h7. Unpinning from this diagonal, he wants to play pawn to f5, but now Tal just plays bishop back to c2, even though it's actually objectively okay to capture on f7, but as it's a simultaneous exhibition, I imagined Tal wanted to play something that requires less calculating, so he played bishop to c2. Now he's threatening all sorts of nasty discoveries here, and Kirjatsky just unpins. King to h8. We have rook a to e1, doubling up on the e file, and only now pawn to f5. We have rook to e7, promoting the rook to a pig, and now pawn to f4, grabbing more space on the king side, but also opening up this diagonal once again for Tal. Pawn to d5. Tal shows that even though this is a crazy game, he still needs to look really, really far into the future and plan this d6 push to allow c captures on d6, and then to create a passed c pawn, which might at some point queen. So okay, queen h4, going after queen to h2 check, so pawn to d6. Tal says, all right, you go for it. And now queen to h2 with check, king to f1, and queen back to h4. You don't really gain anything by giving a check. The king easily escapes, but by playing queen to h4, now you are threatening. The white queen cannot move, as the queen captures on f2 will be checkmate, and also knight to h2 check will fork the queen and the white king. So king to e2, Tal starts running away with the king, and now rook a to d8. Just to give you an example of what happens if c captures on d6, if you could play this, you probably would be okay if you could play it, but you can't play it. The point is now Tal can play queen to e4, threaten checkmate, and once you play queen captures on f2 check, king to d1, and knight to f6, you attack the queen and defend against checkmate here. queen to g6, and now let's say you offer a queen trade, queen to g3, now rook captures on g7, and after queen captures, rook captures, this will be objectively winning for Tal. For example, if rook 8 to e8, you offer a trade, then even tricks like these are in the position. Rook captures on f6, and if rook captures on e1 with check, perfectly fine, rook captures, and now c7, the passed c pawn wins the game. If the rook blocks, even bishop to f5, now you offer a bishop to promote the pawn to a queen. So that's why c captures and d6 cannot be played right away. So rook 8 to d8 first, and now we have rook to h1, a beautiful move by Tal. Point is that Tal wants to play queen to e4, and he wants to go for checkmate on h7, but if you play it now, then this check will be a problem. It's a similar line to what we've shown, but now after knight to f6, a queen can go to g6, but now you just play rook captures on d6, and it comes with check, which is a big problem. You move the king, queen to g3, and it's not as nice as in the line that we've shown. So here Tal plays something that can only be described as a Tal move, and that is rook to h1. He wants the queen off of the f2 square, and he wants to be able to play queen to f4. So let's see what Tal had in mind. Queen captures on h1 was played. Queen to e4 now, threatening checkmate on h7, knight to f6 defending, and now queen to g6. Okay, threatening checkmate on g7, but now notice that the king is not on the d file. You do not have queen captures on d6, rook captures on d6 with check. So rook to g8 blocking this, and now d captures on c7, attacking the rook here. Rook d to f8, and now c8 with queen. Tal brings a new queen into the game and immediately sacrifices it. So rook captures on c8, and now look at this. Queen captures on f6. That was the point, getting rid of the rook from defending f6. Now you sacrifice the queen, and you cannot capture it due to rook to h7 checkmate. Let's not forget about our good friend the bishop on the c2 square. So instead, after this queen captures, we have pawn to f3 with check. So you have to capture, g captures on f3. Now rook c back to e8. Now the rook cannot move. Now g captures on f6 is a threat because the rook is pinned to the king. But what does Tal play? He unpins it. Bishop to e4. Now again, if you capture the queen, this is checkmate since the bishop is in the way of the rook and the king. So rook captures on e7. Tal recaptures, and now queen to c1. Here Kirjatsky wants to start checking the white king from this side of the board. Queen to e5, so at least once you capture here, you're not going to be able to take everything, but also just threatening queen captures on h5 checkmate. So queen captures on b2 check, king to f1, we have queen to c1 with check, and king to g2 now. Queen to h6, you have to defend the h5 pawn. Now comes pawn to c7. See how that d5 move really matters this game. The pawn is now up all the way to c7. We have rook to f8, and now we have queen to f5. Tal again offers his queen, and you can't really take it. If you take it, then Tal gets another queen into the game with check, with the bishop covering h7. There's really not much you can do here. King h7, queen captures on f5 check, let's say, g6, queen f7, and now you can simply trade down into an endgame where you will be up full bishop. Even bishop captures on g6 with check. King h6 you can capture here, king captures, bishop captures, and you will be up a full bishop. So instead, after queen to f5, g6 was played, but it doesn't really matter. Tal plays queen captures on f8. He gives up the queen this way. Queen captures on f8, and now bishop to b7, preparing to bring another queen into the game, and he was in this position. On move 41, that Kirjatsky resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. So really wild game, especially for 1959, as we do not know anything more on this gentleman who Kirjatsky was. Obviously, he played a very strong chess, and he knew theory well. He went for the martial attack. He went for a very rare line of the martial that no one ever plays today, as it's not really that spectacular. But yeah, he made Tal work for his meal, and in a simultaneous exhibition, I don't know how many players were in the simultaneous exhibition, as not a lot is known about this. If you have any other info about this Simul, do use do put in the comment section below, and I will make at least another video on this event where I will explain what really happened there. But yeah, brilliant game. I challenge you to count how many times Tal offered his queen, how many times it was taken successfully. What is your verdict? So yeah, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed. A big happy birthday to Mikhail Tal. We are very happy to check out the game whenever we can, and as we've covered pretty much all of them, we save all the ones that we can for that next big birthday. So yeah, once again, hope you enjoyed it. I would like to thank Gerhard Henkelmann, Perforsa Love Marie, Florida Iguana, and Tortoise Breeders, Kerielis Rodella, and Andre Shred for a contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing to check up on your wonderful suggestions and whatever else happens in the chess world. So thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.